Let me tell you about the time that God completely healed my thyroid. But first, I got to give you a little backstory. So, my daughter just turned 3 this year. And about a year ago, maybe a year and a half, I started noticing my thyroid being enlarged. And I kind of assumed it was just a postpartum thing, right? Because I had just finished nursing her. And so I thought my hormones are just out of whack. Typically that disappears, within 12 to 14 months. It'll be fine. Well, it did not disappear. And it grew and grew and grew and grew until it got to the point where it was just a couple months ago, where every time I would post a video, I would have at least 5 messages of people saying there is something seriously wrong with your thyroid. You need to go get it checked. But here was my reasoning. I did not want to go to the doctor to be put on a hormone pill for the rest of my life. I talked to my mom, who is a doctor. I talked to my best friend, who is a nurse, and they both told me that's exactly what will happen. If you go to the doctor, you're going to be given a hormone pill for the rest of your life. So I said, thanks, but no thanks. Listen, I respect doctors. I don't have anything against them. Personally, I don't want to be medicated forever. It's just my preference. So I started heavily praying about it. And it got to the point where it was downright scary. It got to the point where I was starting to be able to feel it in my throat when I would swallow or breathe. And one night, in particular, I got really nervous about it. And I said, God, I will go to the doctor if you tell me to. But I don't want the doctor to be my first priority. I want you to be my first priority. So if you tell me to go, I'll go. But if you're going to heal this thing, something's got to give soon, because this is getting real scary. That night, I had a dream. And in this dream, I was riding in my husband's truck and we were coming home from somewhere. And in the dream, the Holy Spirit told me, I'm going to fill your refrigerator with food with fire from heaven. So we get back to the house. Sure enough, the refrigerator's on fire. We run inside and the fire has gone out. I open the fridge and I see it filled with all of this healthy but delicious food. So when I wake up, I tell my husband about the dream. And he said, I think God's asking you to give up processed foods. And I said, you know what? I think you're right. I practically lived on processed foods. So to say that that was difficult was an understatement. But I did it. I gave up processed foods, and within 1 week, 7 days, my thyroid had shrunk by 75%. No medicine, no nothing other than changing my diet. Then I went on to do basically a gluten fast. I fasted from bread, pretzels, and crackers for a solid 21 days. And in order to make sure that I was giving up processed foods and that I was eating the right things, I did this meal delivery service called Hungry Root, which is they screen all of the food for you. They put it into recipes. They send it to your door. So that's been a lifesaver, because I don't have to think about dinner. I don't have to worry if the food that I'm feeding my family is good for them or not. And then I switched my coffee to a clean coffee. And here we are, nearly a month later. Take a gander. She gone. And you can scroll back to my videos from a month ago and see just how bad it was. And I know there's going to be some people in my comments saying, God didn't heal you, you did that. But I can't very well give myself a dream now, can I? So I said all that to say that if you are contending for healing for something, sometimes it comes in a miraculous form where you're just automatically healed, delivered, and set free from whatever you're dealing with. But sometimes the healing comes with instruction and strategy. Sometimes it comes with lifestyle changes so that you can sustain the miracle. But I'm living proof that it can happen. I have so many less issues now. I feel great. I've lost weight. I have mental focus. My stomach doesn't hurt when I eat, which I thought was a normal thing. It is crazy the benefits that I have noticed in 1 month of changing my diet. I know that's not your typical miracle healing testimony, but I thought that it could help someone who's been struggling with contending for something health-wise. All you got to do is listen to God and follow his instruction. And if you don't know how to listen to God, if you cannot even hear his voice, I have videos about that too. And I also wrote a whole chapter on how to hear God's voice in my book, 7 Days to a Life of Limitless. This is basically everything I learned about how to have a relationship with God. A real relationship, not a religious one. So if you feel a little stuck and feel a little lost and just don't know what to do next, and you want to have that relationship with God so you can have that guidance, you might want to check this out. Like I said, this information is in my videos, but if you want it all in one place, this is a good resource. I also wrote a journal that complements it. This is Go Ask God the Journal. It's 120 question prompts. So you ask God the question, listen for his answer, and write it below, and it helps you practice hearing his voice. So if you think either of these would be beneficial for your journey, they are available on TikTok Shop, on Amazon, or on my website, yourfriendcaitlin.com.